Okay. Anybody that knows me and my wife know that we love movies. We are like big time moviegoers. We used to go to the movie theater every single week, sometimes twice, even three times in one week, just to check out the latest movies for the week. Now, of course, times have changed. Pre-pandemic things were kind of normal. After that, things have definitely changed. But we still watch all the shows and stuff on all the different streaming apps and all that stuff. So we're a big movie going family. And so I love making videos, but I love the art of videos, which translates into movies and cinematography and all that stuff. But speaking of all that, um, a lot of movies are related to money. So I love movies that are related to entrepreneurship, overcoming obstacles and really building a big business and living your dreams. I love those movies. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the top 10 best Netflix movies about money. And I've got now some of these movies are still on Netflix. Some of them have moved to other streaming apps or whatever because they just shuffle different movies from different one app. One month the movie's on this app, then the next month it's on that app or whatever. So you can definitely check out these movies somewhere on any of those streaming apps. So let's just go and get started. I got 10 of them here. 10 of the top, or at least my top best Netflix movies out there about money. And there's even more, but and again, they're not in any given order or anything like that. So with that said, let's just jump right into it. So number one is one that everybody I'm sure has seen. Of course, it's The Wolf of Wall Street with Leonardo DiCaprio, playing the role of Jordan Belfort, in terms of how this individual from nothing became such a big time multi millionaire, doing some pretty interesting things. But it's a really interesting story of his hustle and his determination to win. No matter what, I'm gonna win. And guess what? He definitely does it. He finds a way. We all go through our hardships and everything. So he went through his hardship and he just made a decision. Hey, I'm gonna figure this out. And he figured it out and he became very, very wealthy. And but just like a lot of those stories, he started doing some different things he shouldn't have been doing, and of course he had to serve a little time and all that stuff. But he definitely came out clean on the end. So if you haven't seen The Wolf of Wall Street, definitely one of my favorites. You're gonna love that story. So if you're an entrepreneur and you love the watching people go through their journey and really do some incredible things, hey, you're gonna love The Wolf of Wall Street. Definitely one of my favorite entrepreneurial based movies out there. So let me go to the next one here. So of course we had that one, and then we've got The Founder, with Michael Keaton. Hey, let me tell you guys, this was a really good. This one actually was kind of close to my heart, if you will. And the reason why I say that, because my very first job as a 16-year-old kid was at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's. That was my first job. That's how I really learned how to, I used to be a kind of an introvert when I was a kid, but I really kind of came out of my shell because you got to give customer service to people and everything. But this was a really good video, good movie to watch, simply because Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's. So this story talks about Ray Kroc in the beginning and how he really took that concept that the McDonald's brothers had and made it into a major conglomerate corporation. McDonald's is all over the world. We all know. I don't have to tell you. You're probably eating McDonald's right now. This is a really good movie to watch, to show you, really what it takes to get to that next level, and never taking no for an answer, and just being a self-starter. And Ray Kroc really shows that. Michael Keaton did a really good job of really, illustrating that whole story and sharing Ray Kroc's story with the world. So it's really good. And I was already familiar with Ray Kroc's story, working at McDonald's throughout my entire high school career, pretty much. I started there the summer after my freshman year, and I stayed there all the way until I graduated. So it's a really 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 cool story. So I really like that story. So that was number 2. Number 3 is Will Smith's The Pursuit of Happiness. I really like this movie. Of course, I'm sure everybody has probably seen it a few times by now. Will Smith plays, the character. The name of that character was Christopher Gardner. Well, and if you remember this movie, he went through a lot with him and his son, um, you know, homeless and, don't know when your next meal is going to come, don't know where you're going to sleep tonight, and really how through just sheer determination and will, I mean, just, hey, we're in this situation right now, but I have no choice but to come out of it. I have no option. And that's really what you got to have. So I really love that story of Will sharing, the trials and tribulations that character went through, and then just coming out on the end, and very emotional at the end, finally breaking through after all that stuff that they went through in the beginning, in the middle, and near the end of that movie, and to really come out on top at the end was really good. So The Pursuit of Happiness, if you're going through something right now and you're in business and you really want to get to the next level, watch this movie. I think a lot of times we think we're alone, we're going through things and we're alone. No, hey, there's a lot of people going through a lot of things. And sometimes those things may be even a little worse than what you're going through. So it's a really good movie sometimes to put things in perspective, to say, hey, you know what? I know I'm going through something, but there are people that, I'm still grateful for what I have right now. And I just have to work harder and, to get to the next level. So the Pursuit of Happiness, guys, definitely a must-have watch. You got to watch that video. Okay. So that was number 3. Number 4 is The Boiler Room. Man. Wow. The Boiler Room, man, that was one of my favorite movies. I love the introduction. I actually made a video similar to the introduction of the movie The Boiler Room. Basically, this movie has Vin Diesel in it, Nia Long, a lot of individuals that that are still acting today, and it really shows some young people doing some trading and mostly on the phone, just phone sales, calling random people up from a list and, hey, I got an opportunity that you can't refuse, and closing people for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a phone. Just out of the blue. So I know when I first became an entrepreneur, first started really doing some things in terms of really wanting to be in business, this movie really inspired me to really, if you want it, you just got to go get it. If you want it, you just got to take it. You just got to make it happen. Even when the odds are stacked against you, you just got to make it happen. So that their story and just what they go through and all that is very interesting. There's some legal stuff going on in there as well, but just their hustle is amazing. So a lot of good, has a lot of good iconic scenes in that movie that relates to what we do as entrepreneurs. So you're definitely gonna love it. If you haven't seen it, check out The Boiler Room. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's number 4. Number 5 is one that's kind of new. It came out a few years back. It's called Selfmade. It's about Madam C.J. Walker. Became one of I think the first black woman millionaire, in history, documented, selling hair products. And so it really shares that whole story. Stars Octavia, what's Octavia's last name? Spencer. Octavia Spencer. And what's interesting, it just really shows humble beginnings, of course, and then coming up with a concept, perfecting that concept, and then just going out there and hustling and let people know what I've got, hey, and just never wavering, just being consistent. And she wind up building a multi-million dollar business and became very wealthy. And this is like back in the 20s. I believe it's like the 1920s. So if you were a millionaire, a documented millionaire then, especially even being black, man, that was a huge deal. I mean, that's a lot of money. And she actually did it, which is, a good title of the movie, Self-Made. Nobody gave her anything. She just made it happen. So if you haven't seen that movie, this is actually a Netflix original. So you'll actually be able to see that actually on Netflix. It's on there right now. It's called Self-Made. Watch it. You're definitely going to enjoy it. One of my favorite movies. I love it. All right. So that was number 5. Number 6 is Glengarry, Glen Ross. This movie came out like in the late 80s. Stars Al Pacino, Alec Baldwin, Ed Harris, Kevin Spacey, and a few others. It's really about a sales group of people that really they get their sales from leads, right? And they want to get the Glengarry leads, right? So it's really interesting. I'm not going to go into a lot of it, but it has a very iconic scene when Alec Baldwin comes to the shop, if you will, and it has all the salespeople there in the office, and he's there to hype them up, get them fired up. The sales have been very slow. The morale's kind of weird, and he's been hired by the manager to come in and rile up the whole group, right? And he does that in the performance, and his message. It used to fire me up because when you're in marketing and you're in sales or whatever, sometimes you get in those little slumps. But he really tears into them, and let me tell you, just the motivation that you feel from watching that scene, it's just like you're like, you know what, I need to go out here and get it. This guy is really about his business, and I want to be the same way. So if you haven't seen Glengarry, Glen Ross, be sure to check that out. It's on one of the streaming apps, Amazon, or even HBO Max or whatever. Even Netflix. It might even be on Netflix. I know I've seen it on Netflix before. So definitely check that out. One of my favorites. That scene, that initial iconic scene. Oh my God, you'll see what I mean when you see it, and I only have to tell you when it comes. You'll know, because that scene is super, super engaging. So one of my favorite movies about entrepreneurship and just going after it, just putting it all on the line and making it happen. Glengarry, Glen Ross, definitely check that out. So that's number 6. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So number 7 is Joy, with Jennifer Lawrence. Stars a character who created an invention, basically came from nothing and, went through their trials and tribulations and created it's a true story, actually, based on a true story. Last time I seen it, I believe she created the mop that you ring, that not with your hands, but it kind of, you know what I'm talking about? It has a little deal and you ring it, it makes a little clicking noise. She helped create that product, and it shows the ups and downs that she went through trying to get that product to market and coming up with the idea and all that stuff, and just all the stuff that's going on in her life and everything. So it's a really, really good movie. Came out several years ago. I really like it. I haven't seen it in a while, so I definitely want to check it out. Again, I know Bradley Cooper's in it, Robert De Niro's in it. Really good movie. So I definitely recommend watch that movie. These are all great movies. All these movies that I'm sharing, these are all great movies that you will definitely be entertained when you check them out, especially being an entrepreneur that you are. So you're definitely going to love those movies. So check that out. It's called Joy. Number 8, one of my favorites. I've seen it a million times. It's called Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. Man, so many funny scenes in this movie. Where do I begin? But it really shows, this movie talks about, or is really about, a very wealthy, businessman and a homeless bum, if you will, played by Eddie Murphy. and two multi millionaire investors who make a bet say, hey, what would happen if we put Eddie Murphy in Dan Aykroyd's place and put Dan Aykroyd's place in Eddie Murphy's place? Would they still come out on top? Would Dan Aykroyd still come out on top, or would he go down the dumps, or would he just be a failure, and would Eddie become a success? So it's a very interesting concept, and so the movie just really goes about that whole that whole journey of what would happen if these two people traded places, and they do, and of course Eddie kills it. I mean, one of my favorite movies. So funny, so many iconic sayings that we even talk about today. Me and some of my other buddies, just super funny. Definitely check this out. Really talks a lot about trading and how trading works and everything. So really good movie. If you haven't seen this movie, and if you haven't, you must have been living under a rock. But I mean, who hasn't seen this movie? But if you haven't, watch it. You'll enjoy it. It's funny. You'll learn some things as well. But it's really entertaining at the same time. So I really like it. Trading Places is one of my all time favorite movies that you'll definitely love to watch if you haven't seen it already. And if you have, check it out again. I mean, you're still going to get those same laughs. Okay, that was number 7, and that was number 8. Number 9 is The Big Short. This was a really good movie about the whole real estate debacle that happened several years back. About what was that, about 13 years ago, I guess it was now. Something like 2008, 2009. And so this really goes over that. You got a lot of, big stars. You got Brad Pitt, Christian Bale, Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling. I mean, you got all these individuals, plus a few others as well, actually. And but really, it really, I know when this movie came out, it really shed some light on exactly really what happened and how that impacted everybody and everything. I'm sure a lot of you remember that whole time. So this movie did a really good job at illustrating on how that all happened and really educated us on how a lot of this stuff works, with the banks and all that stuff. So it was really educational and entertaining at the same time. So I really loved it. So check out The Big Short. Highly recommended. A really good movie, and a really good explanation on really what happened when all that stuff happened some years ago. So that's number 9. And then of course number 10, of course you can't have a list like this without talking about Wall Street with Michael Douglas, Charlie Sheen, right? Hey guys, and Daryl Hannah. Here's the thing. This is a really good movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but I've seen it over the years. Oh my God, I don't know how many times. Growing up, I mean, I've seen it a lot of times in the past, but I haven't seen it here recently. But this is a really good movie in terms of just greed and really how and someone brand new coming into that whole trading world and really became really made a name for himself at the same time over time. So it's really an interesting story. Very dark at times, but overall, this is a really good movie. Really shows you on things that you can do in terms of how to really make things happen. If you want something, just go out there and get it. Go out there and make it happen. A really good movie about manifestation. So I really like that movie as well. So those are my takes there. Wall Street, The Big Short, Trading Places, Joy, Glengarry Glen Ross, of course, Selfmade, The Boiler Room, The Pursuit of Happiness, The Founder, and of course, The Wolf of Wall Street. Now, of course, there are others. Now, if you've got some that you think that should be on this list as well, just go ahead and comment right below. I love to hear. I love to see those recommendations. Sometimes there's so many movies out here now, and sometimes there are titles that I haven't seen yet. So if you've seen something that was really good, this kind of has an entrepreneur theme to it, making money, earning money, starting a business, growing a business of some sort, definitely drop that in the comments. I love to hear what you might have, and so I can check it out. Maybe I've seen it, maybe I haven't, but I love to check it out. So hope you got some really good titles from this. And the main thing now is, hey, go out and watch some of those movies. Hey, it might even help you in your business. I mean, I've learned a lot from these movies. So, and there's a lot more out there that I know I can learn from. So that's all I got in this video, guys. Again, like this video, subscribe, and hey, we'll see you on the next video. Peace out.